Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Grand Cruise Astrology. My name is Clayton Cruz, and today I'm going to talk to you about the latter half of January 2021. So, a lot of buzz happening right now, a lot going on cosmically, and we're feeling that in the collective. Everything is kind of supercharged, and a lot of people are looking for answers. So, what I'm going to do with this video is keep it on a personal level and give to you what I see astrologically. Try to lay out these energies and present them to you on a personal level so that you can use them and create with them, because astrology, as I understand it, is a tool that we can use and create with and manifest with. A lot of people are making predictions about the collective and what's going to happen with this and that, and I'll let those folks do that. I am more interested in presenting this energy to you on a personal level, because on a personal level is where we have influence, and it's where we can use the energies that are available for us to use, and where we have some modicum of control. Whereas in the collective, we only have our part to play, and so I'm going to keep it contained within that. So, what do we have here? We have on January 13th, we have a new moon in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn buzzword is integrity. It is honor code. It is the mountain goat. One step at a time, all the way to the top. Actualizing your potential. That is Capricorn energy. It has a lot to do with integrity. A lot to do with integrity. Doing it the right way, the tried and true. Not skipping any steps. That's Capricornian energy. It's a Saturnian ruled sign, and Capricorn is a great expression of Saturnian energy, right? So we have a new moon there every year, so this is nothing new. What makes it interesting here on January 13th is we had this video is being produced on January 18th. So on the 13th, we had that new moon conjunct Pluto. So Pluto is a very thorough energy. Pluto, it has buzzword transformation. It goes very deep. Pluto's cycle is so long that when it passes over a single degree in the zodiac, it goes over it 3 times. It goes forward, it goes backward, and forward again. It is a very slow moving planet geocentrically. It moves very slow. And so its influence is very thorough. It's very deep, very under the surface, very generational, but very transformative. You know about it, okay? When Pluto goes over a personal planet, it's no small thing. So this month we have the moon, which we have new moon every month, a 29-day cycle. So we have the new moon over the planet of Pluto. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, take that transformative energy that is Pluto and truncate it down into a moon cycle. And so it gives this new moon 29 days, the flavor of transformation, of that Pluto energy, of really going in deep inside ourselves and really deconstructing that which is no longer relevant, taking it apart and reconstructing it in a way that is useful and helpful for ourselves. Because as in the sign of Capricorn, we're talking about our own personal integrity, our own relationship to actualizing ourselves in the world, our reputation, who we want to be known as, if our legacy could be part of this. Okay, these are kind of Capricornian words here. So because it's a new moon, okay, the moon is a very personal energy. A new moon has to do with our emotional unconscious, right? And during the lunar cycle over that 29 days, at the full moon midway, we have a full expression of that, and then we disseminate it at the back half of the moon, right? That last 20 half of the moon, the 29 days. So, right around the 13th, I didn't do a video about that, but it would have been a great time for us to really be going deep internally. And, this video is being made on the 18th. So even now, it's still a time for us to do some inner reflection before we get to the full moon, to really understand the process of death and rebirth that's happening inside of us, right? To really get in touch and tune with that energy. Now, that energy can be background energy, and we make, if we choose not to put our attention there, This can happen without us knowing about it, and that's fine too. But if we really tune in, if we really, really plug into that deep transformative energy that is happening in the cosmos, and we tap into that vein, we can do a lot with it. We can really move out a lot of dead energy that we no longer need in our lives. We can take it all apart, make manure out of it, and plant seeds and grow something new. All right. This is the potential with this energy. This can be a complete inner death and rebirth if we so choose. It can be as deep and as dramatic as that if we tune into it in that way, or it can just be, I didn't really notice much. And, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But I would suggest that this energy is happening in the background of each of us in some area of our chart. And the more that we tune into that, the more we can make of it. So that's what we have starting at the middle of the month, January 13th. Once we get to the 20th, we have Mars conjunct. First, before we get to that, right around, was it 15, 14, 15, 16? Right in there, we have Mars square to Saturn. So Mars right now, Mars is a planet. Mars is an active energy. It's a very physical energy. It's a very shoot first, think later energy. It just acts. It doesn't necessarily think unless it's put in check by another planet, right? Mars likes action. It's physical action. It rules youth, right? It rules go. It rules adrenals, right? So in the sign of Taurus, where Mars is right now, it moved in there earlier in the month. That's not the easiest place for Mars, right? Mars was having a field day in the sign of Aries, causing all kinds of ruckus in there because Aries is a cardinal fire sign, and Mars loves cardinal fire. It can do whatever it wants when it wants. It doesn't have to ask questions or ask permission. It just does it, all right? So that energy can be very sporadic, right? But when Mars in Taurus, it's more tempered. It's contained, right? Taurus is fixed Earth, and Mars is push and drive and move forward. So Mars can move very slowly in the side. It's like it's dragging a pile of bricks behind it, right? That's what Mars and Taurus is. Now, what's the advantage of dragging a bunch of bricks behind you, or moving through this fixed Earth energy with Mars? Well, the advantage is in the longer term, if you use correctly, this builds a lot of strength. It builds a lot of focus. It really condenses that heat into something almost palpable, right? Because Mars is heat. It's very hot energy, right? And so with Mars in Taurus as it is now, there is a real container that is almost, in a negative, can be almost smothering for Mars. But if we find positive outlets for it, if we find ways to use this energy that are of positive benefit, it can be very productive. We can get a lot done, right? If we can blow off if we can work through the energy of feeling hemmed in and feeling stuck and nailed, or with our feet to the ground, if we can work that out physically in some way, we can really make hay in other ways, because this energy can get very focused. It can get very practical. It's a really good time for building things, whether it be building up our financial resources on a personal level, or building our back porch, or building a shed in the backyard, or going and digging in the garden, whatever it is. Like, this is a great time. That's a great way to use that Mars energy. Use it in something very practical, something very personal in the sign of Taurus, right? It's a great use of that energy. Now, Mars has been square to Saturn in Aquarius, so that again is going to add more restriction. Aquarius Uh, Saturn in Aquarius is, as I've done other videos about, it's building a social container, right? It's building the platform for which the collective can live on going into the future. And when it's Saturn, it's about restriction. When it's Saturn, it's about limits. When it's Saturn, it's about what are the new rules, right? That's what Saturn and Aquarius is all about. We have Jupiter in there too, which is providing a lot of hope and really encouraging us to expand the limits of this container to the fullest extent, right? But Aquarius is still a Saturnian ruled sign. So at the end of the day, there are boundaries to this thing, right? And so that coming into contact with Mars in Taurus can create a little bit of tension. I mean, it can create a real tension there because we're wanting to push through. We're wanting to create for ourselves as individual people and really express in our behaviors that which we feel is in line with our values, because Taurus has a lot to do with values, right? So we're wanting to do that on a personal level. But with Saturn there, it's saying, yeah, but consider the group collective dynamic, okay? Consider the things that we need to put in place so that we can all get along as a group, right? Saturn and Aquarius is only going to see group dynamic. It's not going to see an individual outside of what is utilitarian, right? So it's kind of a very cold energy in a way, but it's very functional and it's very utilitarian. It's almost like it's a group equation, right? When you're talking about Saturn and Aquarius. So that energy rubbing up against Mars' more personal energy in the sign of Taurus, which is also personal, there can be some friction there, yes. Now, as we get toward the 20th, Mars is going to make a conjunction with Uranus. So Uranus, the planet of liberation, all right? The planet of very sudden, fast, unpredictable energy, right? That is Uranus. Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. So just like Mars isn't necessarily comfortable in the sign of Taurus, neither is Uranus. Uranus has been there for a few years now, okay? Uranus is making a slow transit through Taurus. And when Uranus makes a slow transit through Taurus, you can use the analogy of an earthquake. Fixed Earth with Uranian energy. Uranian energy is, again, it's sudden, fast change. I don't know, it's like lightning, right? Uranus rules lightning in ancient texts, right? So that's what Uranian energy is. It's the god of the sky. So when it's in the sign of Taurus, there are some rumblings here. A lot of rumblings on a personal level. What can it look like? A lot of rumblings and changes on a personal level of how we go about taking care of ourselves, what our value systems are, what our daily our daily habits, our domestic comfort zones, like all of these things, what we choose to indulge in personally as pleasure, like these are all Taurus kind of buzzwords. But when we have Uranus there, it's bringing a lot of change and unpredictability to that space. And so with Taurus there, for a lot of us, depending on where Taurus is in our chart, there can be a disruption of the comfort zone, right? And a lot of different areas of life, depending on where it falls in our chart. But Uranus brings this sudden, oh my God, things are not what they were yesterday at all. That's Uranian energy, right? So when Mars goes through Uranus in Taurus and it hits there could be the tendency for us to want to act on that, to want to bring about some kind of sudden change that completely liberates us from past dynamics, things that were hemming us in, things that are no longer, no longer furthering our free-spirited individual nature, right? Because Uranus is a very individual energy, right? So we have Mars still, it is on the 20th, it will be past it will be past Saturn square. It won't be direct, but that'll still be in the area. It'll still be within a couple of degrees. So we'll still have a little bit of that influence from Saturn there when Mars does hit Uranus. And so there, we're also going to have Mars square to Jupiter. So Jupiter is really going to exacerbate this desire, this passion that Mars has to to break out, right? To want to, you know, behave in such a way that will create that change of liberation, right? That's all going to be in play. And Jupiter is really going to exacerbate that. Jupiter is going to have, when it's aspected in this way, in a square, the challenging part of Jupiter is it will have the tendency to want to make a mountain out of a molehill. Whatever we see and experience in our world and whatever we're feeling right around the 20th, just recognize that it is probably more dramatic, big, and sensational than it really is. Okay, it's just the way that Jupiter is in a square aspect. Jupiter likes to blow things up and it likes to puff its hot air. It's a planet of gas planet, right? So just be on the lookout for that. When you have Uranus there and Mars square, this can be a very, it can be potentially, we can feel volatile at this time because we're dealing with a lot of energies and we may not have a clear understanding of how to diffuse this energy or positively express that tension, that charge, right? So how can we, right? Well, again, use it and use that physical energy in a very constructive way. Find a positive outlet for it. Go build a deck in the backyard. Go build a shed. Go dig in the garden. Whatever it is you have to do. Do something disciplined. Find a way to the Mars energy is already being constrained, right? So finding a practice that makes you feel actualized as an individual and it's something that's right in your wheelhouse that you love to do, that is intrinsically unique to you, that is also very physical and even playful, that allows that energy to express, right? Get a jump on that as best you can. Plan for it. Use it. Express it, because if we don't, then it goes inward, and then it creates volatility inside of us, and then energy that is not expressed consciously then becomes expressed unconsciously, and it slips out of us when we least expect it in ways that are not for our benefit or the benefit of other people. So that's what I have for that energy. Just know that that's going to be in place right around the 20th, and then it will move out. And so it could be pretty sudden. You were talking about Mars and Uranus together. Those two energies, they're a very unpredictable combination. But as individual people in our personal lives, knowledge is power. And knowing that these energies are in play, we can find the best way to utilize it. We can make something that can be disruptive for us internally if we're not conscious of it. We can find a way to use it in a very constructive way and powerful way that, it turns it from something that's something to be, kind of not looking forward to. It can be something that we actually use in a way that creates outcome that's like, yes, awesome, great, look at that, right? So just be aware that that's there. And that's for us to play with and use. Okay, so at the end of the month on the 28th, we have Mercury going retrograde. And it's going to be retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And so, there will be some reflection and some reassessment of how we as individuals are going to relate on a more day-to-day psychological capacity, yes, but also on a day-to-day the way that we function in life, the way that we go about our business, the way we schedule, all these these things, we're going to be reassessing how we're going to move forward in the new year uh, over this few weeks while we have the Mercury retrograde. It's already in shadow, so we already may be feeling some hiccups around technology and things like that because Mercury is going retrograde in a fixed air sign of Aquarius. So, you know, the purpose of Mercury retrograde is for us to take a deep, take a deep breath, take a step back, to stop pushing forward and to really reassess uh, what are the systems that we can put into place for us to move forward without having any baggage going forward in the future, right? That's kind of what Mercury does. It says, okay, take a step, let's slow down, take a step back, go clean up, get your house in order so that, you know, when you bust out, when Mercury retrograde is over, you can move forward. You don't have anything to negotiate. Now you can just go. So, with it being in a fixed air sign of Aquarius, air sign, yeah, just, you know, get your technology in order, get your, you know, get your all your applications in order that help you function on a day to day. Get your calendar in order, right? Get your apps in order. Get your all your technology in place so that when Mercury goes direct, you will have refitted it for what's to come later in the year. So that's that. I mean, the retrograde really it's really going to be really assimilating and really reconfiguring ourselves and adjusting to new information that's coming in because at the end of January here with these configuration of planets, cosmically speaking, there's just a lot of new influences all coming together and negotiating all at the same time, right? And so we're going to have to make sense of it, right? We're going to have to make sense of it on a personal level, what it means for us as individuals. So that's what we have to work with coming here. Now Venus is going to go later in the month into February. It's going to be going into Aquarius too, and I do see once we get into next month, I do see some sweeter energy going into the Aquarian space. So I do think on a collective level, on a more humanitarian, larger, big picture level, I kind of think that with Venus going in there, it is going to maybe smooth things over there for a little while. For a few weeks there, there may be some collective calm. I hope, you know, we can hope to see that with Venus there. It could maybe speak to that. So. The next couple of weeks, especially, right around 20th, 21st, just in that time period there could be some internal rumblings for us to make sense of and to express in whatever way we need to. So, but beyond that, it looks like we're going to be dealing with the consequences of all the new energies coming in together, all the new energies negotiating with each other, and how to move forward with those. So that's what I got. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully you can glean something from it and use it. Again, this is an interesting time that we're living in, and the cosmic energies that are in place speak to it very, very, very clearly. This is not an accident. So understand that there's greater design here, and that we absolutely have the capacity to use these energies and make the most of them. So go create, make the most of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.